Okay, in this video, what I want to do is talk about sacrifice and dedication as they relate to athletic success. Because a lot of times when we talk about what it takes for an athlete to excel, to succeed, we naturally focus on the development of certain physical attributes. We might talk about building strength or building power, maybe teaching a certain skill, which are all obviously important. But when you think about what it takes to succeed, to excel, there's more to it than any physical attribute or any amount of natural talent. Think of it like this. Just about every person I've ever spoken to who has played sports at any level has a story about someone that they grew up playing with or playing against or they saw compete who had tons of natural ability, tons of talent. But for whatever reason, that individual didn't make it to the next level. And sure, maybe it's because they lost interest or they were injured. But a lot of times, their lack of achievement has more to do with mistakes that they made outside the gym, outside of practice. A lot of young athletes in particular don't realize that it's not enough to just be dedicated when you train or when you compete. You need to bring that dedication home with you. You can only rely on hard work and talent so long. You might be the top dog in your school or the top dog in your town, but as you continue to compete at higher levels, eventually you are going to face competitors who have just as much talent as you have. They work just as hard as you. So a lot of times, who succeeds and who fails comes down to who is more dedicated, not just in the gym, but outside the gym. Who acted and behaved like an athlete at night, on the weekend, every day. And look, I don't just say this as a coach. This is one of those topics where I wish I didn't have experience, but I do. When I think back to my younger self, there's really only one way I could put it. I did a lot of dumb shit, a lot of things that I regret. I wasn't one to start trouble, but I didn't know how to walk away from it. So I ended up getting into a lot of fights, had a lot of hand injuries from those fights, got myself into a lot of trouble. And ultimately, the accumulation of all those mistakes eventually ended my competitive days. So now, 20, 25 years later, as a coach, as a father, I've matured and grown wiser. So I feel almost as if it's my duty to try and help prevent younger athletes from making some of the mistakes that I made. Because trust me, you don't want to be that guy who looks back and says, I could have done this. Or I could have done that. No one cares what you could have done. Nobody. It's not a damn person who cares what you could have done. What did you do? That's what matters. So if you are a young athlete with aspirations to succeed, you owe it to yourself to give everything you have. You can't just be dedicated when you train. You have to bring that dedication home with you. A lot of young athletes, they're living in the moment. So they go out, they horse around, and they don't understand the consequences of their actions. It might seem insignificant at the time, but when you continue to mess around, it becomes more and more likely that eventually you are going to do something that comes back and bites you in the ass. And a lot of times, trust me, a lot of times the stupid shit you do is with people that you think are your friends. You think they're your friends, but 5, 10 years down the road, there's a good chance that those people aren't at all involved in your life. So don't throw away your dreams, your gift, to go out and do something stupid with someone who might not have any dreams. Instead, you need to surround yourself with people that are going to raise you higher rather than dragging you down in the dirt with them. When I think back to my younger self, I wish I knew what it felt like to say, you know what? I gave everything I had. I did everything I could have done. I don't know what that feels like. And that bothered me for a long time. Now that I've grown older, I've come to accept it. I can't change the past. But maybe I can change a younger athlete who hears something I have to say. Because trust me, time passes quickly. It flies by. You can't take it for granted. So if there's something that you want to achieve, you have to give everything you have. And that doesn't just mean training hard and competing, but taking that home with you. that dedication. You need to behave like an athlete at all times, in and out of the gym. Because if you don't, trust me, the day will come when you face someone who does. And that's when you're going to run into problems. So in summary, if you have any questions about this, as always, shoot me an email at ross@rosstraining.com.